Hello and welcome back to Swishes, Hits, and Kicks. I'm the host, Richard Carrion, and we are here on episode 19, and something's different. Something is different, right? Something's different. Now, am I a long-lost heir of the Tapatio man? Possibly. Was I really Italian this whole time? And am related to the Mario brothers? Possibly. Or am I just, some I don't know if I'm middle aged anymore. Early to mid 30s man that came to you straight out of Mexico, straight out of TJ. Or did I come over from another South Asian, India, and came over here to start a good life for my family? Well, none of those are correct. But what you are seeing before you, what you are seeing with your eyes, what you are looking at currently or listening to with your ears, hopefully no aids, hearing that is a man. Is a man with a mustache. And when this man has a mustache, I mustache you to listen to me even more clearly than before. Hello. I am a man. I am a man with a sports show. I am a man who today is going to talk about three of his favorite sports. I am a man who not only is going to talk about these sports, but is going to talk about them in depth to the point that you may listen more intently. Today, on this day, whatever day you're listening to it, we are going to hear and listen to, you might even see, a man who is going to talk about the NFL, American football, good old American football there, bud. And you must say to yourself right now, why? Why are we talking about American football, buddy? Because I like it. That's why. Off-season moves, baby. But then, after, we will talk about another sport that just ended, but I love it so much. We talking about the NBA. Know what I mean? We're talking about them off-season moves. We're talking about draft night. That's tonight. That's a hint for you when I'm doing this. And then, we're not going to talk about hockey. I need to get into hockey, but I'm not talking about hockey. We're not talking about baseball right now. Soon. That's a hint for what's next, but one day about baseball. But then we will talk about the UFC, and especially UFC 303 that is happening this weekend. So, then let's get into some NFL. American football there, buddy. And mainly what I want to talk about with the NFL. All right? A couple things. First off, how they going to do this to my Raiders right now? My Las Vegas Raiders. How they really going to do us like that, putting us at the 26th ranked team in the league currently? How they going to do this to us? We got an offseason grade of a C, and I get why. I looked into it. Shout out to Yahoo Sports, old Frank Schwab. We're ranked 26 all because we don't know who the quarterback is, and we don't know what the future of the quarterback looks like. I feel you. I feel you on that. But how you gonna be so disrespectful? Like, honestly, so disrespectful when we whooped them Chiefs on Christmas. You gave them that good Christmas present. We said, oh, y'all like the score? Not today. That's what we did. And we're going to do it again this year. But the offseason ain't been looking good for my Raiders. And I feel like it's been worse for the Dallas Cowboys out there. I am going to crap on the Cowboys all season. Do they got weapons? Yes, but I would deem them the biggest losers of this offseason. The Dallas Cowboys have done diddly, squat, nothing this offseason. Okay? Nothing. All right? Now, some things that I think this offseason we've been seeing a lot about, there's been like almost too much attention on it, is, we've heard about, Caleb Williams, right? Oh, man, the Bears are going to be successful. The Falcons quarterback situation. The Buffalo Bills, because they've been offloading all these vets. I mean, who the hell is Josh Allen going to throw to? The Chargers, who's our wideout this offseason for Justin Herbert. Everybody kind of knows the Texans are looking like Super Bowl contenders. But let's talk about a couple other things, okay? Big one, who's going to start for the Giants? Daniel Jones or Drew Lock? Truthfully, no clue. Everyone, like my brother, he'll openly say like Anthony Richardson's it for the Colts. And guess what? When he played, he was it for the Colts. But let's be honest. Is he going to play? Is he going to play? That's the real question. Is he going to start? Because is he healthy enough to start? Another big one I think they were talking about is Miami. Is Miami going to be able to afford Tua? Is Tua going to be another $50 million quarterback? Probably. And then the last big thing, and I already kind of hinted at it, would be the Raiders. Like, what are we going to do with quarterback? Like, is it O'Connell? Is it Minshew? I truly think that they are looking for – they're going to be looking at running the ball a lot, and they are going to be looking at probably trying to draft someone next year. Or do a trade. I can see that too. Although I think Gardner's going to start. Okay? So there's my American football talk for you, buddy. Now, we are going to talk a lot right now about the NBA. The NBA draft is today. As I'm recording this is today. Okay? Now, I'll be honest. I think the draft class isn't that strong. It's not as strong as it has been in the past. I think the biggest, it's by default, he's the biggest like name there, and it's not because he's going to go like in the first round probably, but Bronny James. Everyone's wondering, where's Bronny James going to go? And a lot of that has to do with where his dad will go to. I think so. A lot of people are saying like, oh man, LeBron's not going to go wherever just his son is. I don't believe that. I think LeBron wants to have that King Griffey moment. I think he wants to be on the same team as his son at least once before he hangs him up, puts some sneakers away. And like with the offseason right now at the NBA, like it's going to be wild. Like there's talks already, like the favorite to get Klay Thompson now is the Magic, because the Warriors are preparing possibly to offer like max contract in years to Paul George, to bring Paul George to the Warriors. And they're talking right now that the Warriors are also thinking about getting like, and Pat Beverly's like hinting at this himself, that the Warriors might get D'Angelo Russell again with Paul George, with Curry and Draymond, and try to make something happen. Supposedly, the Warriors are willing to get rid of Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul. I don't blame them about Chris Paul. Chris Paul's set to make like $30 million this next season on his contract, and that's way too much money for a guy who comes off the bench. And he's not like sixth man of the year. Like he didn't kill it last year. Another big one that was a huge talk of today was the Rockets trying to figure out a way to get Kevin Durant. And a lot of teams are wanting Kevin Durant and are going to be willing to give away some draft picks tonight. So that's why like tonight's going to be interesting. I would be surprised if the Suns give it to Rockets. Now, I think in the NBA it's a little different. Like in the NFL, it's rare that teams just give to their like same division rivals or even in their conference. In the NBA, it's a little different. Like the Knicks and Nets literally just did a trade, and they just like live over the bridge or something like that with each other. So I wouldn't be surprised, I guess, to see the Suns and the Rockets, even though like I feel like it hurts the Suns to do that. Durant isn't who he used to be, but he's still Kevin Durant. Like he can still put up 25. There's a lot of big moves, though, I think are going to happen in the NBA. A lot of people want Andrew Wiggins. Eventually Ben Simmons. They're gonna have to. I think the Nets are gonna get rid of Ben Simmons. The Nets are gonna free up all these guys and have all these first round picks, and there'll be something in the next couple of years. Trae Young. I don't know if Trae Young's gonna get traded, but he could be on the move. Like, that really wouldn't be a surprise if like Trae Young was on the move. Back to Durant, like the Suns owner is like openly trying to say like Durant's not available, but why would everybody be talking about it if it wasn't mentioned? Let's see. Who else? Oh, the Miami Heat just extended Bam Adebayo, and they want to extend Jimmy Butler, but I'm seeing and reading that, if the Sixers came up with the max contract for Jimmy might jump at it. Let's talk about some of these free agents, though. I saw how some of these free agents. We got old boy OG from the Knicks, Miles Bridges, DeMar DeRozan supposedly heading to LA, and it ain't the Lakers. Supposedly, like, there's a big chance that he could go to the Clippers if Paul George is gone. Which, by the way, it's Paul George, with the Clippers, that's a player option, And with Kawhi, like, being not on the floor as much, like, he is their best player. Tobias Harris, I don't know how the hell Tobias Harris has that big-ass contract. This dude is like, has the biggest contract in NBA history and ain't ever made an All-Star team. And LeBron has a player option. And his player option, by the way, people, is like insane. His player option is like $51.4 million. So if he doesn't want that and wants a longer deal, it's going to be probably less than that. So there's a lot going on for NBA free agency, and it starts tonight. Like, it truly does. I just don't know what's going to happen. I'm really interested to see. The NBA offseason starting now. And, there was a big thing this morning, when talking about the Kevin Durant stuff, like Stephen A. Smith's like, he feels like the Suns, like, really, like, it's a real thing, even though the owner's saying it's not. Like, he's all about that right now. And he's probably right, like, a little bit, I think there's something there with what he's saying. And let's talk about, I've enjoyed talking about football. I've enjoyed talking about basketball. But I always get hyped up for these MMA, UFC pay-per-views. These are big events. And I've told you, like, I think that, May was going to be a struggle to get through, but June's going to save us from, like, all these other, like, kind of lamer, lesser cards. But, like, it's almost like what they call the fight gods, man. The fight gods are just saying no June. And life is saying no June right now, but that's another story that doesn't have anything to do with this podcast. So we were supposed to get a big ABC card headlined with an insane middleweight fight, Khamzat Chimaev and Robert Whittaker, Bobby Knuckles. Didn't happen. Khamzat got sick and got replaced, and Robert Whittaker did his thing, knocked the guy out quickly. Khamzat Chimaev is lost so much luster. It's insane. Khamzat Chimaev was like the number one prospect in UFC. And now I feel like, even with fans, he's almost like a what if guy. Because he, like, always gets hurt when it's like the main time. He doesn't fight often enough anymore. He got big off fighting often during Fight Island, which was during the pandemic, and the UFC was like one of the only major things going on sports-wise in the initial part of the pandemic in 2020. But man, like, that card became, it was tamed in a way. But then even right before that, we hear, Conor McGregor broke his toe, not able to fight. And a lot of fighters are like, man, you can fight with a broken toe. You can fight with a broken toe. But if you're Conor McGregor and you haven't fought in 3 years, and you're one nasty, devastating loss away from, like, hanging it up, as far as, like, you still are a contender, you still can go, and you're worth so much money, and you winning brings you even more stardom. Like, I don't blame him. I would wait to fight until I'm 100% healthy. And honestly, who knows when that fight's going to happen, just the way the UFC is working. Dana White sounds a little annoyed because he's been trying to make this fight for a long time. I think Chandler was willing to fight Max Holloway for the BMF title, but it seems like Max Holloway wants to fight Topuria. That's a big fight for the featherweight title. So 303 completely changed. We got Yuri Prochazka versus the champion now, Alex Pereira. And the card, honestly, and they added Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez to it now too. And the fight card looks better. I mean, there's been people that have dropped out, but overall the card looks better. It's time to talk about UFC 303. Let's preview this card. And we are going to start with the early prelims that you can find on Fight Pass. All right, early prelims that will start at 12 p.m., I believe, 3 p.m. Pacific time, but I think it's 12. Or, no, they'll start at 3 p.m. for us too. My bad. Sorry, guys. Tripping. Thought it's all Eastern. Anyways, the first fight's bantamweight fight. Ricky Simón versus Vinicius Oliveira. By the way, how sick of a name is that? He ain't just vicious. He ain't just Vinny. My boy's Vinicius. Against Ricky Simón. Ricky Simón, I remember came on. He came on to like the game, I feel like, when he fought Uriah Faber. If I'm correct, like he fought Uriah Faber, like in the UFC. I remember it was like a big deal at the time. Yeah, that was like his first fight. Ricky Simón versus Uriah Faber. And I feel like that was big. You know, one of his first like well-known fights. And he lost. He lost, and that was like supposed to be like, you know, they were supposed to make this kid big name off of Uriah Faber. Didn't happen. And that's at bantamweight. The next fight, flyweight bout, we got Carlos Hernandez, who probably loves Mustache Holmes, against a fighter from Japan. Now, y'all gonna have to work with me here. I told y'all with these names. This is the first time I've ever seen this man's name in my life. I'm gonna try my best. Don't judge me. We got Ri Dosuria. And I had to add the accent to it because it made it come out better. Y'all know this. Don't judge me and say, oh, man, he's racist. I ain't racist. That's how the hell y'all say it, too. And I don't know. I've never seen either one of these guys fight. I'm going to go with Carlos Hernandez because he probably likes my mustache better than Reed does. Next fight is insane to me. Insane that this man's still fighting. This guy's been fighting forever. Okay? Andre Arlovsky is fighting on the early prelims. Andre Arlovsky has fought almost 60 times. The Pitbull. Former UFC heavyweight champion Andre Arlovsky. Okay? And by the way, like, I think this is it. I think that he is gonna retire if he doesn't win. I really do. I think he's gonna retire if he doesn't win. He's been fighting since 99, so this is his 25th year of fighting. Insane. Andre the Pitbull Arlovsky. Remember, he beat Tim Sylvia. Big deal. They had their little rivalry. Went over to Affliction. Tried to do some jumping knee. Fedor slept him. Always liked him. I remember my cousin Andres. Shout out to Andres. Doesn't speak Spanish anymore. Good old boy. It's all good. Me Game Boy. All that shit. Yeah. Man, in the UFC video game for like Xbox 360, he used to always be like, dude, if I could look like a guy, he'd want like Andre Arlovsky's build. He used to always pick him. Andre Arlovsky, the Pitbull. And he's going against, sorry, I forgot the other guy just because there's legends over here, right? Martin Buday from Slovakia. Honestly, Martin Buday is likely going to win, but I'm going to go Pitbull just out of pure like nostalgia. I got to go for him. And then the last fight on the early prelims is a women's strawweight bout against Michelle Watterson, the karate hottie, against Gillian Roberts. This is a ranked fight. Michelle's the OG. I'm going to go for her. It's a really close fight, even odds-wise. So it's kind of a toss-up, smart fight to lead into the prelims. And now the prelims. The prelims are pretty good. By the way, you all gotta help me out here, okay, on some of these names. All right, it's the first fight on the prelims is bantamweight fight. You got Peyton Talbot, which I can kind of say that Talbot, you know, I'm doing okay on that. It was 2 fights in UFC already, you know, he's winning, right? He's won both, and I can see he's a young guy. The UFC is really going to push him, and he's going against the Frenchman himself with a sick haircut, Yanis Gamori. And I feel bad for this guy, Giannis. He's a plus 900 on the odds. And the Peyton is a minus 1,600. Basically, the odds are telling you that Peyton Talbot's going to kill this other guy. Is it going to happen? Yeah, I think he's going to beat him. I think he's going to annihilate him. The next fight's a really close one, too. You got Charles Jourdain versus John Silva in featherweight. This fight's going to be fun on the prelims. If you're going to watch any fight on the prelims, you got to watch this because it's going to be rock'em sock'em robots, just like all of us degenerates love. You got Cub Swanson and Andre Feely. It's going to be a fun fight. Cub's the OG. Andre's been at it for a while, too. Even money on that featherweight fight. I think Andre Feely's going to win. Shout out to Sacramento. And then the last fight on the prelims. This fight should probably be on the main card. You got Joe Pfeiffer versus Marc-Andre Barrelout from Canada. You like that? Barrelout? Joe Pfeiffer, I think, sleeps him. Joe Pfeiffer. I don't know why Joe Pfeiffer is not, like, on the main card. He lost to Jack Hermanson, 5-round fight, which was, like, going to be his big fight, right? To move up. Jack Hermanson is really good. Jack Hermanson, the decisionator in a way. Joe Pfeiffer's got power. The little punching power thing the UFC has, he hit harder than Francis Ngannou. These prelims start at 5 p.m. ESPN Plus, and let's go to the main card. We spent so much time on the prelims, but we got to hit the main, baby. We are starting the night off with Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page. Literally even money. Number 7 ranked Ian. Number 14 ranked Venom Page. We're either going to get an exciting fight or the most boring fight on the card. Let's go with the young hype train, Ian Machado Gary, even though people hate him. But if Michael Venom Page lays him out, I'm not surprised. Then we got the bantamweight women's fight. We got Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson. And I'm going to go with the underdog. I think Macy's going to put a win on there. Then we got Anthony Smith, who stepped up, right? He had stepped up in place of Jamal Hill. And he is fighting a different opponent now, too, against Roman Dolezal. And I think Anthony Smith gets the win. If Anthony Smith can get this win and it's, like, exciting, and he calls out Alex Pereira, or, Yuri, right? I think he gets a title shot here. Just because based off of, like, injuries and stuff, he might be able to do it. Co-main, best fight of the night. I think it's going to be the best. It's going to be fun. You got Brian T. City Ortega and Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez showed out at UFC 300. Brian Ortega's kind of already said, like, this is his last fight at featherweight for now. He's going to move up to lightweight. It's going to be Rock'em Sock'em Robots for a little bit. I think Diego Lopez gets caught by T-City, though. I think Brian Ortega chokes him out. And then the main event in a rematch is going to be so fun. Champion Alex Pereira against number 1 contender Yuri Prochazka. And this is a rematch of a previous fight they had where Alex was able to stop Yuri. But I think this fight's going to be insane. The odds are so close. They're so evenly matched in about every single thing. I think Alex is just going to win, though. I don't know what it is, man. I just think Alex has got it. Alex right now has all the mojo. And Yuri takes a lot of punches. Yuri takes a lot of punches. That's UFC 303. Pereira versus Prochazka 2. Alex Pereira is going to win, I think, by knockout. You can go off my picks. That's up to you, what you want to do. Let's see. Is that it? Is that anything else? Mustache me? Mustache you. On Friday, possibly I'll put it out Saturday at latest. I am going to do an AEW Forbidden Door 2024 episode just for that. But yeah, this was great. We're talking NBA tonight, drafts tonight. Hopefully I can get this up before the draft. NFL offseason, my Raiders, man, they killing me right now. What the hell we going to do? I'm a Raider fan, though. I'm going to say we're going to win it all, baby. We're going to win it all. And we got UFC 303 on Saturday. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun one. Let's see. What else? That's it. That's the end of the show. So let's see. Y'all got American football. Y'all got basketball. And you got some fighting. You got mustache this, mustache that, mustache your ass. I gotta go. Yeah.